Shalom, and thank you for watching this video from HaDerekh Synagogue. I hope you are liking the content we are bringing you. If you could like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, that will greatly help us. And to further help bring great content to you from our teachers, if you could please consider to donate to HaDerekh Synagogue. The link is in the description box below. Thank you for watching.
So today's portion is Tavo or Tavo if you're Aaron, and it lists the second of two tochachos, which is the blessings and the curses. So while this parsha spells doom, at least it's written in cursive. No good. However, at the very end, at the very end, we're commanded that we're supposed to write the Torah on some stones, on big stones. So that became the original stone edition Chumash. Stone edition Chumash. Okay. Enough of that. Enough punishment. This week's parsha is deeply tied to one major theme of gratitude and acknowledgement. And here are some key areas that we can explore together. First one is Bikurim. We open up with Bikurim. Bringing Bikurim is the essence of Hakaras Hatov. The farmer acknowledges not only the land and the fruit, but also Hashem's redemption of Israel from Mitzrayim. It contains four basic parts. The farmer brings the first fruit in a basket to the Beis HaMikdash. The mitzvah continues with the farmer declaring his recognition that Hashem has kept his promises. I profess this day to Hashem Elokeinu that I have come into the land which Hashem swore to our fathers to give us. That's how it all begins. He expresses Hakaras Hatov in historical context. He must recall the kindness that Hashem showered upon our fathers to bring them into this land, and once he does, the farmer merits to enjoy those fruits. The Kohen takes the basket and presents it before Hashem. And then finally, the fourth part, Seforno emphasizes that the narrative of gratitude that is recited by the farmer, also known as the Arami Ovidavi, thanks Hashem for the fruit itself and for the whole divinely guided and protected history that led us to the land. For one who brings its first fruit and makes a declaration as though he acknowledges that the entire story of Israel's redemption is his own story. Because it is. The Torah prescribed recounting reminds us of our journey from wandering to settlement, from slavery to freedom. This declaration is designed to remind us that Hashem preemptively provided blessings based upon our promise of obedience. This is another view of the Chen of Hashem that is prevalent throughout the Tanakh. And the reason why I say that is because there's a tendency that people think that grace only shows up in the Newer Testament. But if that's your opinion, it's sorely lacking. A wandering Aramean was my father, or as some would say, an Aramean tried to destroy my father, and he went down into Mitzrayim and sojourned there, few in number, and he came out a great, mighty, and populous nation. Devarim Rabbah emphasizes the recitation as a form of national memory. Gratitude is not just for the present fruit, but for the fulfilled promises to our avos, for centuries of Hashem's kindness. Gratitude here is tied directly to an unceasing historical consciousness. The mitzvah is carried out through the collection and transportation of the Bikurim to Yerushalayim, a declaration of the fulfillment of the promises of Hashem. The Kohen presents the gift before Hashem, and finally, a recollection of the history of Hashem's guidance. Aydat Yitzhak states the following, and this is kind of a long quote. The essence of acknowledging divine sovereignty lies in man's gratitude to the Creator as a source of all good, and his appreciation that man himself is in no way responsible for all that the might of his own hand has accomplished. Failure to realize this implies repudiation of the yoke, the fear of HaShem, and all the evil consequences that flow from that. This is indeed the subject of the warnings contained in Moshe's address to the people, beginning in Devarim 4:25. They would forget God's bounty and imagine that they were the authors of the benefits they were enjoying in the Promised Land. They were, therefore, bidden to perform a rite that would act as a constant reminder that the earth is Hashem's and all the fullness thereof. And everything was a gift bestowed by Him, and He was responsible for all our prosperity, the beginning of the first fruits. Indeed, all such offerings constituted acknowledgement of divine overlordship. I love that word, overlordship. Our Hasidic masters, like Safas Emes, he states, the act of Bikurim teaches that all of life is a first fruit. Everything we have should be recognized as Reshis, a beginning, a gift from Hashem. Gratitude realigns us to see every breath and every mitzvah as a fresh gift. In no wise is it an entitlement. Maor Ein Ayin says, Bikurim symbolizes the Jew himself being offered back to Hashem. When one brings his first fruit, he acknowledges that Ani Bikurim la Hashem. I, myself, am a first fruit. Gratitude is understood to be existential. I belong to Hashem because He sustains me. And I am grateful. If one thing can be pulled from our Hasidic masters is that gratitude is not reactive, as in, thank you for this, or thank you for that, or thank you that I was able to brake fast enough not to smash in the car in front of me. Gratitude is ontological. It recognizes that existence itself is a gift, not just the things that we get in this life, including the successes we think we accomplish with our own hands. Now, last year, for this Torah portion, a strange event happened in Israel. Does anybody have any recollection? I mean, it is strange. And if you don't remember it, when I say it, you're going to remember. You're usually the Mr. History buff. Okay, how about this? Exploding beepers. Oh yeah, remember the exploding beepers? Yeah. Okay, so what crosses your mind when you think of the exploding beepers? Yeah, well, actually what it is, it's like, look at what a group of geeks in a back room under buzzing fluorescent lamps powered by Elon cold brew can do, right? I mean, that's what the news was talking about, but that's wrong. It's wrong. If we think the successes that we accomplish with our own hands are us, we miss the point. It is Hashem. V'dui ma'aser. The mitzvah of tithing runs almost opposite of Bikurim. It contains three basic parts. First, we properly separate the tithes. After distributing them, we are to make a declaration of obedience. Then say to Hashem Elokeinu, I have removed from my house the sacred portion and have given it to the Levi, the Ger, the fatherless, and the widow, according to all you commanded. I have not turned aside from your commands, nor have I forgotten any of them. I have not consumed any of the sacred portion while I was in mourning, nor have I removed any of it while I was unclean. Nor have I offered any of it to the dead. I have obeyed Hashem Elokeinu. I have done everything you commanded me. Once we declare our obedience to the mitzvah, we ask Hashem for future blessing. And that future blessing is based upon the ancient promises that serve as the foundation of our existence. Look forth from your holy habitation from heaven and bless your people Israel and the land which you gave us, as you promised our fathers, a land flowing with milk and honey. The mitzvah is carried out through the separation and preparation of Maaser, declaration of obedience, and a request for future blessing. Ramban points out that this order shows Hashem's ongoing kindness is sustained by our acknowledgement of his past kindness. And then chapter 28, we have curses and blessings, the Tochacha. The terrifying Tochacha lists consequences for disobedience. Neither the list nor the one we received 38 years prior to this one are the topic for today. We've dealt out with that before. What is on point is one pivotal pasuk. Before reading the verse, prepare and ask yourself what you think the root cause of the Tochacha are. Avodah Zarah, desecrating Shabbos, sexual impropriety, or running from that which is kadosh. We did all of that in the wilderness. Devarim 28:47 explains, because you did not serve Hashem your God with joy and gladness in your heart, when you had an abundance of everything. Rashi says that even mitzvos done without joy can invite punishment. Chazal further note that ingratitude breeds neglect of mitzvos. The Netziv, from my neck of the woods, explains that failing to appreciate prosperity leads to complacency and eventual downfall. We see that in disrespectful inheritors of wealth. Safas Emes elaborates that exile is not just punishment, it is the natural result of living without gratitude. If we fail to see Hashem's gifts, the gifts being the land, the temple, the Shekinah, they will be hidden from us. Kedushas Levi says gratitude draws down the divine presence. Ingratitude creates Hester Panim, which is concealment. And this is the essence of exile. This is a deep and recurring theme. Exile as a consequence of ingratitude. Chazal consistently frame Kefias Tova, the denial of goodness, as the root of sin and destruction. Bereshis Rabbah quotes Bereshis 3:12. Adam says to Hashem, the woman who you gave me, she gave me from the tree. Chazal read Adam, instead of thanking Hashem for Chava, Adam blames Hashem. The Midrash says, and from here you learn that Kefias Tova leads to exile. Hizkuni notes, the very first exile from Gan Eden flowed from Adam's lack of gratitude. Midrash Tanchuma Beshalach writes, when Israel complained about the manna, our soul loathed this bread, is what we said. We showed ingratitude. The Midrash says, you were exiled because you despised my gift. We stayed in the desert for another 38 years. Vayikra Rabbah, no one said thank you for Eretz Israel. Rather, each man said, my strength and the might of my hand brought me this success. Because they denied Hashem's kindness, exile came. Midrash Tanchuma Kisavo says, the pasuk, because you did not serve Hashem with joy, teaches that Hashem values the joy of the heart as much as the action itself. The Midrash compares it to a servant who prepares a banquet for his king, but serves it with a sour face. It insults the king. Zephrei explains this as ingratitude, having plenty yet failing to thank Hashem. Ramban says the exile curses come not merely from idolatry, but from an ingratitude in prosperity. We are to have gratitude that is tied to our collective memory, which ties us to Jewish history. Hasidus guides us to see every moment as a gift from Hashem. It forms a powerful message. When we live with gratitude, in memory, in joy, in covenant, we anchor ourselves in the blessing and in Eretz Yisrael. Let's hope we never get exiled again. Good Shabbos.